Hey guys, it's 𝗧𝗛𝗡𝗏 here, and welcome to my very first live video. We got a really cool build challenge for you guys today, and it's really nothing like I've ever done before. So in this build challenge, I will not be doing the 8-minute architect, but I will be trying to design a whole apartment with all of my weird teen phases. So you guys are going to get to learn a little bit about me, and hopefully we can really make this strange, funky apartment work. And for the different phases, I have retro, I have cutesy, I have spooky, I have jock, I have indie, I have nerd, and of course, I have artistic. So what I'm gonna do is I actually have my old laptop case, and I'm going to kind of pile them all in, and we're just kind of like draw them out and see what comes out. So I think starting off, we're gonna set the tone with doing the living room space. And the first phase for the living room shall be... we have the jock. This is a weird phase, you guys. This is a weird phase to design. And this is definitely something I went through as a child and a teen. And yeah, it was not really my choice. It was actually my parents who signed me up for karate at a young age. I think I was 7 when I started. And then I did play tennis for a very long time. I think I played tennis for a good 6 years of my life. So quite a while. And yeah, I did play on my team. I did play on my school team in middle school. I think I did twice. But by high school, I was just honestly so tired, and yeah, I was like, I need to focus on my studies. The jock phase, if you will, is kind of a weird one because I was never like a super jock type of character or person in school. I shouldn't say character. I was still fairly athletic. I was also very good at presidential fitness, and that sounds probably really weird. It was like this series of different physical PE tests, and if you were terrible at them, it definitely showed because you'd have to do them in front of all of your classmates and stuff. So yeah, it was kind of a weird thing. Trying to think like a jock. What are we going to use here? Something maybe a little bit more industrial. I feel like jocks, and this is maybe a little bit cliche, but I feel like jocks probably don't have like the best sense of like design and fashion and stuff, so maybe we'll just kind of try to like disperse things about, I guess. So we can probably put some clutter here, but I do know that we have a soccer lamp, so I'm gonna try to find a small table. Let's see what we got. Maybe what screams jock? I don't really know. Now, if they had a football or something, that would be really cool too. I actually am not a big fan of American football, so gasp, I know. I was always much more into tennis. My parents actually watched it for a very long time, and they still do. It used to be like a family tradition when the spring/summer kind of came around. So this is cool. I actually think this is going to work great. This is the Snowy Escape end table, and it looks like a snowboard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a snowboard, so I'm gonna keep it really funky like this. We have these decals. I mean, that is very jock-like. A big giant decal from Parenthood, I believe. Yeah, I don't think it's like that great. I'm gonna try to make this look a little bit aesthetic, if you will. Maybe I can put one of these up because it does still fit with the theme. So we do have some snowboarding stuff. So something jock-like. This looks kind of interesting. It's a little bit more modern. I'm kind of getting like bachelor pad vibes. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, we're just kind of going in with the cliche here, but you know, so be it. And then I'll just put a big old flat screen right there. So I think that's coming along nicely. I think what's a little bit difficult is this area, you guys. So maybe I can get some kind of game? Foosball, where art thou? It's not here, you guys. One of these. So yeah, it's definitely giving college dorm vibes. I don't mind doing a dartboard. What I'm actually going to do is try to create like a built-in seating area. I'm going to take, let's see. Ooh, I just unlocked all of the spa stuff. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to take the cabinet here and I'm going to line it against the wall like that. And then I'll just go with a swatch that I think goes with the rest of the room. So we got some orange, we got some brown. So I think I'll keep with that. I'm gonna try to size it down and fit it inside. So this is a little tricky. I think it goes like this, and then you can carefully hover it inside and just pop it back a little bit. I think that's about right. And I'm going to change them probably to white. So I'm thinking this is a really cool place for, you know, jock sims to kind of hang out. You know, they're playing foosball. They're kind of hanging out on the side. So again, these are from the spa day pack. I don't know about the dartboard because the dartboard is kind of, yeah. The dartboard is over the counter. I don't think that's a terrible thing. Probably something like this. Just like that. I think I changed my mind already about the chairs, so we're gonna change them back. And let's just do a simple lighter wood with a white cushion. It's kind of a cream cushion because I think I unlocked debug, so I think we can kind of like throw those in there, get the vibe going. And we have some soda, so I'm gonna line this here. You know, it's just a fun night. Everyone is having a blast playing. Whoa! I would like to have pizza as well, so we have that. That actually is pretty cool. I'm gonna put the pizza here. And yeah, there we go. They're watching the game, having a good time. And I think this is pretty good for our living room chalk inspired theme. Next up, we have the kitchen area. Our next theme is nerd. How perfect, you guys, jock and nerd. But here it is, if you guys can see it. And I'm gonna put that over here. All right, so life story nerd. Yes, I was probably a nerd for a lot of my life, a lot of times through school. I think it was somewhere around the middle of elementary school where I really started to focus on my grades. And yeah, everywhere I've been placed in some kind of gifted or enrichment program. And then I did IB in high school. And this was not really my choice. This was more of my parents' thing. Of course, I do appreciate it, but there were some pretty stressful times indeed. So for nerd, this one's going to be a little tricky. I think I'm going to make this one a little bit tacky. So I'm gonna, again, play with the cliche of the nerd. And I was thinking about using the new wallpapers I had from Parenthood, because I think these are really interesting. Here's the hard part, you guys, like making something look cool and nerdy at the same time. But you know what? I think we can do it. And you know, being a nerd is not a bad thing. You can learn a lot of cool stuff. There are still a lot of, there's cool people who are nerds. You know, let's break the stereotypes for sure. There might be a better swatch somewhere. There is this one. I'm getting high school vibes. I'm getting a little bit of high school years, even though I don't own the pack. I don't own high school years, but it's giving me those kind of vibes. And we're gonna do this a little bit old school, a little bit tacky, but I'm just going to fill this up with counter space. I think in the original layout, this was how it was originally. So I'm gonna do that. It's a lot of counters, but I'm gonna leave room for a fridge. I think I wanna go a little bit more retro. So I'll have this one from Cottage Living. This is a huge kitchen. These are like EA style, not bathrooms, EA style kitchens, you guys, with huge counter spaces. So I think maybe I'll go with this blue like this. I think this is fine. But perhaps this one, I think this is really interesting. It kind of bleeds into the counter, which is cool. It does have some books, so there's that, you know, academic feeling. We're gonna roll with it, you guys. I'm gonna try to put the stove in this area because I think that's fine. So we have a nice little shelf area next to the fridge, and then the stove can fit right in this slot. And I think I'll just go with the same one from Parenthood. Definitely has a retro feel. You know, if we're gonna go classic nerd, maybe their style is a little outdated, but it's okay, they're still cool. Now, honestly, you guys, I really love getting Parenthood. For all of you who pitched in the poll, thank you so much. That was just really helpful, and it was worth it. It was totally worth it. Lots of great stuff, and lots of great clutter for the kitchen, which I really appreciate. Okay, yeah, I think it's coming along. I think it's coming along, you guys. And then we will do some curtains as well. I think for these, something really large and bushy like these almost. Again, not stylish, but I mean, yeah, something like this. I think for some reason I enjoy this kind of beige tone. It kind of plays off the wall a little bit. This is hard, you guys. I don't really know what fits with the theme of a nerdy rug, a nerd or geeky style rug. I think that's such a weird concept. Could do something like this, but again, it's huge. Things do not scale very nicely in this game. Maybe in this weird beige, this beige striped pattern. So we'll do this, and I think it actually works fine. I like it being old school, a little bit more traditional, which I think speaks to the theme. And then we're just gonna grab some chairs here, maybe the ones from Cottage Living, if I can get a good swatch. And I think this is actually pretty sweet. This has a very cozy vibe, even though it's supposed to be nerdy or geeky, if you will. But we're gonna roll with it. We're gonna do this. Thinking we can put some books down. I think that would be cool. You know, sometimes you're eating your cereal and you just want to read about Da Vinci, Einstein. We're gonna go with the trope, you guys. We're gonna go with the trope. So, whoa! Oh, we have new robots. How cool is this? I did not know this, you guys. There is our little nerdy, geeky inspired kitchen design, if you will. So on to the next room. We're actually gonna go back down here. We're going to do the study area. Retro. So here it is, you guys, retro, and this is a really funky theme for me. For this one, I went through a phase where I was obsessed with the 80s. I loved 80s movies, 80s music, and yeah, I went through a whole stage of listening to a lot of classic rock. And that is thanks to my dad mainly. And we're gonna make this super, super funky. It's gonna be like pop art from the 80s. Thinking Memphis Group, if you guys have ever heard of them. Flooring. There's a really funky flooring somewhere. Ah, here it is. Yes, we're gonna go really crazy bonkers here. But for 80s is a little hard because if I'm doing a funky pop art, like almost weird contemporary style, it's gonna be a little tricky kind of getting the balance right. But I can almost do a really weird desk like this. This one is from Get to Work. And it kind of has those 80s vibes to it, you know, like when computers were huge and kind of obnoxious, the big box computers like this. We can go really retro, almost like, almost like a gamer, like old games back then, you know, when consoles were starting to come out, something funky like this, kind of like this rug. My parents used to have a rug like this in their living room, and yeah, we had it for a very, very long time. And it was quite similar to this also. Kind of like this weird, it's trying to be like contemporary, but it's not. Okay, I think this could do something white like this. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play up that a little bit of art pop Memphis movement, if you will, and I'm gonna try putting some really weird statement pieces. So we have stuff like this, which kind of gives me 80s vibes a little bit. It almost gives me a little bit more, maybe 90s, if that makes sense. I know there were some really weird, there's some weird stuff back then. I have the perfect painting for this room, and it is actually a base game painting. This base game painting is really fun. And here it is. Cool. It definitely has the style I'm looking for, and it's kind of the statement piece in the room. So I think that works. If this is the study area, not really sure, you guys. This room is so big. Maybe I'll put another chair here. Probably not very 80s-ish, but I think it's gonna have to do. You guys. These tones just don't match. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but it's gonna have to do, you guys. Ooh, yes. This is like a Tetris-inspired poster, so I think this could be really cool. Just put a guitar in because I love my classic rock. I still do. One of my favorites, surprisingly enough, is a band called Def Leppard. And my dad always says that they're actually a parody of another band, but I just like them a lot. I think they're really great. And my dad was actually a really good guitar player, and he still is. So I'm gonna put one here. I love the horror flicks. The horror flicks from the 80s were interesting. A lot of great action movies. And maybe something like this. I'm kind of getting that vibe. I'm getting like almost Big Trouble in Little China, Karate Kid maybe. So something like this could be cool. Yeah, I think it's not bad. It's giving me like action vibes. So I think that is pretty cool. So I think this is sort of retro looking enough. Again, not really authentic 80s here, but I think this is not bad. I think this is not bad for the main office. All right, so moving on, we have the secondary bedroom, and this is going to be this is actually going to be the child's bedroom, and we're gonna see what we get this time. Spooky. So this is an interesting one. This is actually a phase, if you will, that I went through pretty much all my life. I've always loved spooky things, and I actually used to watch a lot of ghost hunting shows and even like paranormal reenactments, if that makes sense. And I remember going to my aunt's house, because my aunt's house, can't talk today. My aunt's house, she had the full-on like cable satellite package, because this is back in the day. We used to have just like regular, you know, antenna TV, so we didn't really get in anything interesting. The best thing I had was pretty much PBS Kids, so yeah, that was kind of the thing. And yeah, anyways, when I went there, I would watch a lot of these really spooky shows, and I've honestly always loved them. I think they are so interesting. So right now for this one, I'm automatically thinking we can do something really spooky. So I'm going to use the Parenthood wallpaper. I've actually never used this wallpaper, but I think it's perfect here. And then, all right, we're going to select our bed. Ooh, we have a lot of interesting stuff from vampires. So we got like cracks, cobwebs, those kinds of things. So I think I will actually go with the all black bed from Parenthood. I think it fits quite well. So I'll do this, and I will get a large spooky rug. This is from the Paranormal Stuff Pack, and I think it works. This is already like a very creepy space. I'm thinking I can do a desk. So I'm going to do that and put it up against the window. And there is this one from Paranormal, which is actually really small and cute. I think this works. We're going to go somewhat gothic. We're going to be gothic today. Yes, we are. And I think I want to change the lighting a little bit. It is really bright in here, so I'm going to delete the overhead light. And I'm thinking I will put a Vampires Pack light here. Yes, so this definitely gets the vibe I'm going for. I'm actually going to move it on this side because I do want room for a dresser. I'm actually going to mix it up a little bit, I think, and do this one from Realm of Magic. I was going to use this one, not this one. I was going to use this one from Vampires, but I think I like the smaller one, or actually, you know what? I'll use both of them. So I'll put this one over here. I think this is shaping up, you guys. I'm going to put another one of these here. I think I can do almost like a little reading nook. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be. This one is interesting. This one is from the Paranormal Stuff Pack, and I also don't mind it. It kind of goes with the color scheme. For some reason, we have duplicate lamps. What the heck? Now, I do want to add one creepy thing. And if you guys have been paying attention to my lore, I did use this doll when I did the Robert the Doll episode, which was super creepy. If you guys know about that story, or if you guys want to learn more about it, I did have that episode in my Real Lore series. Really spooky, really rundown room. It's all part of the Haunted House package. Yes, ask your realtor today. Okay, so I think this just about does it for our spooky room. We're going to move on to our next room, and that is actually going to be the guest bathroom. This is actually going to be the guest bathroom and also the bathroom of the secondary bedroom, if that makes sense. And we have cutesy. So this is interesting. Cutesy as a phase for me. I'm still kind of in this phase, but I was definitely more so in it as a child, as a young child, and I loved stuffed animals. I loved having lots of cute like Thai Beanie Babies, Thai plushies, pretty much anything, even something like bought from, you know, a gas station or a supermarket, especially when the holidays were around. I just loved collecting stuffed animals, and I still have a lot even to this very day. I think, you know, maybe it's weird, maybe it's lame, but I think a good stuffed animal can really cheer you up. Just reminds you of good old days, you know, something cute. Why not? Why not? So for this room, this is going to be the bathroom, and I'm thinking we're going to have to do something a little bit fun here. So I'm going to try possibly some really funky wallpapers here. I think this is kind of cool. Something like this. Not really sure, you guys. This one's kind of weird. This also gives me plushy vibes. We do have a lot of animals here, so maybe we'll do this. This might look like probably like a pediatrician's office. But I think we may have to roll with it because I just don't see any other better options for myself. Like, I can't ideate something a little bit different. Thankfully, we do have the Parenthood pack, so we do have a lot of fun ones that we can use. So I'm gonna try to look for options here. We want something that has a lot of animals. That's cool. I like that. I'm thinking we can actually do a counter in the corner and then have it kind of scooch along the wall. And maybe I will do Parenthood once more because I think it just goes, you guys. It's a really great pack, honestly. And I'm like, why did I not get it sooner? I think this would have been so helpful in a lot of really cozy, homey builds, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going to put these along the wall here, and then probably use just a little bit of space for a toilet. There is this mirror, but I'm not liking it, you guys. I'm not liking it. It's kind of weird. There is also this one, which is it's not bad. I think I'm gonna try to use it, you guys. So I'm gonna just bump it up a little bit using the 9 key, like this. Boom, boom. Let me get a nice rug, and I do know that there are a lot of good options for the rugs. We already have a little whale. That's cute, I like that. Something like this. But yeah, I do have this one here. I will just kind of nestle one, I think, in the toilet. I think that's kind of weird, but maybe it's one of those where the rug kind of is cut out. So I think that works fine. Yeah, I think this is not bad. We have these really cute little mirrors. Oh, this one's sad, but I like it. I like the differences. So I think we'll do that. Why? Why does this not align? Just hover it in place just like that. And I think that works. And then for more clutter, I thought we had more clutter than this, but apparently we do not. But I'll just put one of these down. And then because this is a cutesy room, we need our stuffed animals. It doesn't really make any sense here, but I think it'll have to do. Let's see, we have a cute, can't talk. Got a little koala. I think this was actually in the base game update for infants. So that's really cute. I think that's fine. I do know that some kids like playing with these kinds of toys in the bathtub, so I don't think that's that bad. Just a little bit of clutter in the corner, and I think that concludes the cutesy styled secondary bathroom. So this is the bathroom for the really spooky kid. Next up, we have the master bedroom, and the master bedroom is going to be, I hope I didn't lose the other one. I'm like, where is the other category? Artistic. All right. So this is a really great one. Again, this is another phase, if you will, but this has pretty much been all my life. I remember even as a child, I loved to draw. I drew probably as early as around 2, and my parents used to get so mad at me because I wasted so much paper. And originally I actually used to kind of like illustrate my own books. I used to try to like type them in word processor. I would print them out, staple them together, and then actually do the drawings next to them. I used to be a really great sketcher, but I kind of lost touch with that. It's not really something I do a lot. But then obviously I still do a lot of art and design today because I am a digital artist / graphic designer. So I mainly work in publishing, so I do a lot of covers. And yeah, it's just a really cool, fun experience. So for the artistic bedroom, I think the approach I'm going to do is to try and keep it a little bit more, I guess I would say messy. I don't know if that's the best word. Okay, scrap it. We're not going to do this style. The style is too hard. I'm going to try and do something a little bit more modern. I'm thinking probably like something more inclined to the contemporary urban art scene. So something you might see in New York City, perhaps. This bed is kind of cool. It does have some cool palettes here. So maybe something like this. I love the color with this one. As weird as it may look, you probably are thinking like, what is this rug? Why are you using it? It's just the base game rug, but I don't know. I like the textures. I like the textures. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but it doesn't hurt to try. The end tables, let's see. Maybe we can go a little bit funkier. These are from the Tiny Living pack, and perhaps they can do. We can also be a little bit more eclectic. I always like this one. This again is from the Tiny Living pack, and it just kind of fits the feel. We do have some of those teal tones coming through, which is nice. There is a really good painting from City Living that has a lot of good options. So I think that's what we're going to do. Something like this in the middle. I think I'll stick with the trees. I think I like these little touches of pink. I think they are interesting. So I think I will stick with that. But for me, when I do bedrooms, I normally make some kind of area for the television. I mean, yeah, it's nice to watch TV in bed. Maybe it's just me, but I like it. Yeah, I don't think that's that bad actually. So I think I'll do this. This is very fitting. I feel like I can see this in a city area where unfortunately a lot of apartments are just super, super small. And this is kind of like something we had in our dorms in college. So maybe I can see something like this happening. And I can do a little bit of an accent color as well. I can do the salmon, like the salmon tone. It's funky, but it carries on the theme. So I think I'll roll with that. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So that was from the Spa Day pack. I do like these also, but maybe I can make them larger. We can line the window like so. I do want a beanbag in here somewhere, so one of these is fine. Whoa, I said one. I'm gonna take another one of these chairs like that, so it feels more like a set. And yeah, I think this room is really fun. I really like a lot of the vibes here. And yeah, I think this is actually not bad at all. It's a little crazy, but I think it'll do. And I think we're good with this room, and we're gonna go on to the next room. All right, our last room today is the master bathroom, and I think it's actually like smaller. It's smaller than the other bathroom, but hopefully we can make it a little bit more luxurious. I don't really remember what the last one was. I don't remember what the last style is. And we have indie. Okay, this is really cool. This is the last category. And this was probably a phase I went through in high school and college, and I still enjoy indie music to this day. It was mostly centered around the music, but especially for me when I was in college, roughly in the 2010s-ish era, that whole like indie alternative movement was big. But I loved a lot of the bands from that era, and I used to listen to them nonstop. Listen to bands like, oh god, I can't even remember a lot of them. I know there was one called Beach House. There was Group Love. Group Love was one. Passion Pit, I remember that. The 1975, it's another kind of like indie band. So for the style of indie, this one is kind of hard. I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know. This is a weird style, you guys. I think for this style, it has to be very natural. It has to feel very homey. I don't know if I would make it too rustic, so I'm going to try and balance this the best I can. I don't know, you guys. This is gonna be a tricky one. This one from Get Together. Oof, not feeling it. I'm not feeling it, you guys. So maybe something like this. It's kind of giving me like a renovated barn type of look, and I know that that was also very big back then. So I do actually like this one. This is actually one of my go-to sinks, and I love it because it has a very rustic charm to it. It feels something, it feels like something a little bit more old-fashioned, which I don't mind at all, and I like the little touches of color here and there. Get our handy dandy toilet roll. Boom. Okay, perfect. And yeah, okay, so for this, I'm thinking we will need some things hanging on the wall. Let me see if I can add some kind of towel set somewhere. There is a towel with old wood on it. Where art thou? Where art thou? Now, I do also want more plants in here, so I do want to find some options. Not quite sure where I'm going to put them, if I'm being honest with you guys. But perhaps something like this, just a little something. I wish the light hit it a little differently, but I think that's gonna have to do. And we have all of our completed rooms right now, which is super fun. So we just finished our indie inspired master suite, even though it is smaller than the other bathroom. We do have our very artistic inspired bedroom. This is the master suite. It's kind of a mixture of contemporary, eclectic, maybe a little bit of industrial, maybe a little bit mid-century modern. But we have a lot of fun colors and motifs that I think worked fairly well. Moving out, we have the cutesy bathroom. This is the cutesy secondary bathroom. So this is full of little toys, stuffed animals, if you will. Again, fitting with my own personal phases. And yeah, I think it turned out great. I love how fun it is. And it does have a retro feel to it also, which was kind of like a little extra treat in there. Moving over here, we have the spooky, mysterious secondary bedroom, which is actually the child's bedroom. Yeah, this child may have nightmares, but again, inspired by my own stories, my own interests that I hold to this very day. And that is that. Moving on, we have the nerdy or geeky inspired kitchen, which was a lot of fun to make. I love a lot of the pastels. It definitely has an older vibe. And I snuck in some books and a robot just for good measure. But we do have a fairly large kitchen. Again, very cozy. And, you know, some dinosaurs reading books. Why not? Yeah, definitely a fun room design. And that was another phase of mine. Then we go to the main living space, and this is the jock room. So this one probably isn't that stylish, but I do want to keep, like I said, a lot of athletic stuff. We have the posters, the soccer lamp, the snowboarding stuff, which is really fun. And then we have a whole like game night center. So we have the foosball, we have like a little bench to chill out and watch the match, watch the, you know, football game on TV or whatever sport is there. And, you know, we have a dartboard and some remnants of like sodas and pizzas there. So I think it fit fairly well. And then finally, this is probably not my favorite like room of the house, but this was the 80s inspired room. So we have an older computer, lots of funky like pop art furniture, which I think maybe was a weird choice on my part, but I did want to include some posters that reminded me of 80s films. guitar for classic rock. We got some really cool artwork, kind of reminds me of Duran Duran's album artwork, if you will. And then more retro stuff on the wall as well, with some old, 8-bit gaming, paying homage to that. But yeah, that is the full-on apartment. I hope you guys had a blast learning more about me and seeing my designs-ish come to life. This was a super weird build, but yeah, I think it turned out a lot of fun. I did use a lot of different packs here. And, unfortunately, this is not going to be on the gallery, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed my very first live on-camera video and just seeing me design and learning about my life, I guess. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. And just like every other video, this has been 𝗪𝗛𝗡𝗏𝗏𝐶𝗏𝗏𝐶𝐵𝐿𝑑S signing off. Thank you so much for watching, guys.